Before I start looking at the page 66 problems, there's an important limit that I was looking at, and it's important that we know this. So the limit as x goes to 0, the limit as x goes to 0 of sine x divided by x, we're going to see what that equals. There is a proof for this, but it's pretty involved. So if you want to go over it with me, you can, but not during class. It takes a while to go over, but it's pretty interesting. But I'm not going to show that here. I'm just going to try and justify it or give an inclination of what it's going to be just using the graphing calculator. And I can do that by plugging this into my y equals, this function. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make sure that I'm in function mode, and then I'll go to y equals, and I already typed it in. So I have sine x divided by x, and I'm going to go to my table settings. I already changed it to start at -1 and increment by 0.1. So we're just going to do this just with a table of values and evaluate the limit. So I will go to my table, and I start at -0.1, and I'm incrementing upwards, and I'm getting closer and closer to 0. These are getting closer and closer to 1. And then if I plug in 0, I get an error. And well, that should make sense because there's a hole. There's a hole here. I can't plug in 0. So that's good. That should make sense. But I'm getting closer and closer to 1. Whoops. Yeah, I'm going to let it ring. And then afterwards, if I get closer the other way, I get closer and closer to 1. Why is my calculator freaking out? And even if I looked at the graph, what does the graph look like? I mean, you could see that it goes up to 1 here. But you can't actually plug in 0, so there's a hole there. So let's see what happens. If I arrow over, you could see that the y value is going to be 1. Although the function is undefined at x equals 0. So there we go. The limit, though, is approaching 1, or the limit is 1. So this, knowing that sine x divided by x is 1 when you approach 0 from both sides, that's very important for the rest of the problem. So I'm going to stop this now and then continue the rest of the problems using the fact that sine x divided by x equals 1. So I'm going to use that fact.